Liverpool are making headlines again. Virgil van Dijk sends a strong message after the Sunderland win. Florian Wirtz gets huge praise from national media. And we've got the latest medical verdict on Wataru Endo's injury. Plus, big updates on Konate's contract and the Roberto de Zerbi links. Stay tuned for all the breaking Liverpool news you need to know. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a daily LFC update. Virgil van Dijk sends Liverpool message and can't deny Steven Gerrard claim after Sunderland win. Virgil van Dijk's header helped secure Liverpool's 1-0 win over Sunderland as Steven Gerrard agreed the victory was huge in their pursuit of qualification for the Champions League. Steven Gerrard has backed Virgil van Dijk's assessment that Liverpool's 1-0 victory at Sunderland proved crucial in their battle for Champions League qualification, whilst emphasizing significant improvements remain necessary. The Reds bounced back at the Stadium of Light following last Sunday's 2-1 setback against Manchester City at Anfield. Positioned 6th with 42 points, every mistake now carries weight in their European football ambitions. Yet Van Dijk's match-winning header propelled Liverpool above Brentford, who take on table-toppers Arsenal on Thursday evening. Liverpool now trail Chelsea by just 2 points, with the Blues holding 5th spot, a position that appears sufficient for Champions League qualification. Speaking to TNT Sports after the final whistle, the Dutch skipper said, "Can't deny that the win feels very big, but there are still 12 more games to go, so we've got to keep improving, trying to find consistency. We have to try and keep building, try and stay fit and stay confident and keep improving. Today was a great step forward with, and without the ball, so now we recover." Gerrard, working as a pundit, shared Van Dijk's sentiment, highlighting the significant progress made. "A big night," he stated. "They are chasing the Champions League places. It's so important for them. They came here tonight under pressure and thoroughly deserved the win. They won it from a set piece. A great header from Van Dijk. He steps forward again. Huge for Liverpool. I think to a man, defensively they were much improved." The outcome also represented the Reds' first clean sheet since their scoreless stalemate at Arsenal at the beginning of January. In the subsequent 4 Premier League fixtures, Arne Slot's team let in 5 goals, coming as a huge boost to the Reds and their chances for the season. It ended Sunderland's unbeaten home run and came as an important win for Liverpool, as they looked to push on and find some form. That left Slot pleased with his side's performance, even if it was a tight battle at points, as he spoke to the press after the victory in the Northeast. "It didn't feel to me at all as a struggle because I think we played really well again," the manager said. "We didn't face the weather. We faced Sunderland, who were until tonight unbeaten at home. They are a good team, have a good manager, and have a difficult playing style to play against because, as we know from the game we played at home against them, it's a lot of long balls you have to defend and a lot of balls into the channels. I think we did that really well. We controlled the second ball really good, and from that second ball, we played some very good football. What I'm getting used to more and more now is that we miss a lot of chances, which we did tonight again. But the big exception for us tonight, compared to all the other games we played against promoted teams, or teams that we were the better team, we were not able to score from a set piece. Usually we concede one, but tonight we could score, and that's the difference for us in this game." The Reds have a favorable run of fixtures on paper, with clashes against Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Wolves and Tottenham coming up, 4 of the bottom 5. That could give Liverpool the run they need to get a place in the Champions League for next season. Reason Liverpool wouldn't go near Roberto de Zerbi after Jurgen Klopp is warning for Spurs. Roberto de Zerbi is among the candidates to replace Thomas Frank as Tottenham manager, but Premier League rivals Liverpool were once warned off the Italian. Roberto de Zerbi is one of the more tantalizing candidates to become Tottenham's next manager. The Italian is on the market following his exit from Marseille and boasts Premier League credentials, though Spurs may have reservations for the same reason that allegedly deterred Liverpool from pursuing him. De Zerbi's departure from the Stade Velodrome was announced within the same 24-hour span that included Thomas Frank's dismissal by Spurs. The prospect of securing De Zerbi on a free transfer is an attractive one, particularly given his impressive track record at Brighton, Marseille, and Sassuolo. Liverpool were reportedly interested in the then Seagulls manager towards the conclusion of the 2023-24 campaign, as Jurgen Klopp prepared to step aside. Anfield icon Xabi Alonso was also touted as a potential contender after his stellar work at Bayer Leverkusen, but the role eventually went to Arne Slot. Reds legend Mark Lawrenson would have welcomed that outcome after cautioning his former club against appointing De Zerbi. His view was that De Zerbi had overstepped by publicly pushing Brighton to strengthen their squad, behavior he deemed inappropriate for someone who might aspire to manage a club of Liverpool's stature. "We've seen how much money they've made this year," he told Paddy Power at the time. "I thought Roberto De Zerbi was a bit naughty last week, saying he wants more players. Brighton gave him his big gig, and he's done very, very well. But once you go down that route of asking for more players, and maybe his agent is speaking to other clubs, I don't think Liverpool will go anywhere near him. He's a good manager, but I think he's getting carried away." De Zerbi guided Brighton to their best-ever Premier League finish when they secured 6th place in the 2022-23 season. He also steered the Seagulls to the FA Cup semi-finals that campaign, with Alexis Mac Allister netting 12 goals as their top scorer. Mac Allister was among several big-name exits in 2023, alongside Moises Caicedo, who departed in what was then a British record £115 million move to Chelsea. As typically happens when clubs enter European competition for the first time, Brighton's domestic form dipped, and Lawrenson felt De Zerbi showed a touch of arrogance by making his grievances public. "Brighton haven't had a particularly good season," he continued. "He's not dealt with the extra games and blamed it on not having enough players. De Zerbi won't go to Liverpool, and he might have put 1 or 2 prospective club owners off him. Brighton are a well-run club. They got £22 million for Graham Potter and his backroom staff. They'll just get another manager in, and being run the way that they are, they probably know who their next manager is." De Zerbi's controversial approach didn't stop when he left the Amex Stadium. At Marseille, he publicly questioned the club's transfer strategy on multiple occasions and fell out with some players due to his tough methods. While his current availability might seem attractive, the chaotic undertones associated with him may not suit Tottenham's present predicament. Spurs are languishing just 5 points above the drop zone and desperately need stability, with Lawrenson's previous comments suggesting De Zerbi might not be the man to deliver it. National media make same Florian Wirtz point after Liverpool win. "Boy turning into a man, look at how the national media reacted to Liverpool's 1-0 win at Sunderland in the Premier League." Liverpool secured their first away win of 2026 with a big 1-0 victory at Sunderland on Wednesday night. Virgil van Dijk's second-half header was enough to inflict a first home defeat of the Premier League season on the Black Cats. The Echo, as always, was in the northeast to cover proceedings as exhaustively as ever. You can read our match verdict, our player ratings, the post-game analysis, the on-the-whistle reaction, and our live blog all here. The reactions of Arne Slot and Regis Le Bris were also noted down on our dedicated Liverpool FC pages. We leave no stone unturned in our match coverage, you know. Our colleagues from the national media were also at the Stadium of Light. And here's what they made of it, as the Reds closed the gap on the top 4 to 3 points on the night. Lewis Steele, of the Daily Mail, pens, "You need not be a body language expert to work out how much this victory meant for Liverpool, under pressure manager Arne Slot and his troops." Virgil van Dijk's reaction to scoring a match-winning goal may have been rather low-key, but the skipper and his colleagues soon made up for it by celebrating every block, tackle, and clearance thereafter as if they had scored. There were 5 green Liverpool shirts around Van Dijk to mob him for a last-gasp intervention, more thanking the imperious Wataru Endo, who injured himself in stretching for a clearance, and then a cue to high-five Joe Gomez for a composed header when under pressure. Everyone, not least Slot, knew this was a momentous evening in their season after Van Dijk's 61st-minute header saw them become the first team to come to Sunderland and leave with a victory since their promotion back to the Premier League. Slot had said on Tuesday that his team would need to be close to perfection if they were to qualify for next season's Champions League. In terms of performance, this was far from that perfection, but it was full of fight, resilience, and patience that will stand them in good stead in the battle for top 5. Florian Wirtz, too, is only getting better and better and should have had at least 1 goal to his name here. The German hit the post in the first half as he pulled a shot past Robin Roefs, minutes after the Dutch goalkeeper had palmed Wirtz's venomous strike wide. Over on the Times pages, Martin Hardy writes, "There was a virtuous showing from Florian Wirtz, who has moved from having questions about the size of his fee to being an integral part of a changing Liverpool team. Sunderland could not cope with his probing. He created 2 chances and saw 2 shots blocked. It was some performance. There were periods in the first half where it was one-way traffic for Slot's side. At the heart of it was invariably Wirtz, prompting and desperately trying to unlock the most stubborn and brave of defenses. There is reason why Sunderland had conceded the second lowest total of any team in the Premier League on home soil. Wirtz did his best to break a backline that had let in 9 goals at the Stadium of Light before the visit of Liverpool, a side still trying to find their rhythm this season in February. The German was the architect of how they took control of the first half. By that stage, there had been 14 efforts on goal from Liverpool, just 2 on target, and 23 touches in the Sunderland penalty area, compared to just the 3 Sunderland had mustered. Luke Edwards, of The Telegraph, was another impressed by Wirtz. He wrote, "There have not been many tougher nuts to crack in the Premier League this season than trying to beat Sunderland away. But Liverpool did thanks to Virgil van Dijk's header and the skill and artistry of Florian Wirtz. It was scrappy and messy, a dogfight. Sunderland made it a battle from start to finish as Regis Lebris's side did what they have done to so many teams before this season. They were direct, physical, and dangerous, but Liverpool stood firm. They showed a steely side on Weir's side, and in the middle of it all was their little German maestro. Wirtz had initially found the speed and aggression of the Premier League difficult. It all looked a little too much for a player raised in the Bundesliga. A £116 million price tag looked as heavy as the tackles he received. Wirtz has been rapidly improving, making the adjustments in his game for some time, but in standing tall in this clash, the 22-year-old looked like a boy turning into a man. There are not many tougher environments for an away team's playmaker to thrive in than the Stadium of Light, in front of that crowd, against this Sunderland team, but some of Wirtz's touches, passing and link-up play were sublime. He danced and jinked around the pitch, riding challenges, finding space, and he always appeared the most likely player to open up Sunderland's rigid, well-drilled defense. And in the Echo's verdict, we muse. If you can't beat them, then the best course of action appears to be joining them. Liverpool have been seemingly unwilling to take part in the agricultural revolution taking place in the Premier League this season, but on a cold, wet Wednesday up in Sunderland, it was a scrappy set piece that breathed fresh life into their Champions League hopes. Virgil van Dijk's second-half header, deflected into the roof of the net via Habib Diarra, was enough for Arne Slot's side to take full advantage of the opportunity presented to them by the set of results on Tuesday night. After the respective draws of Chelsea and Manchester United, this was a chance that Slot simply could let pass him by, so a first away win since Tottenham Hotspur, before Christmas, came at an ideal time. A top-4 battle littered with inconsistencies is where Slot finds himself right now, and while there was some factual analysis behind his Tuesday claim that Liverpool are not necessarily a club who relieve managers of their duties if they don't qualify for the Champions League, he needs European Cup participation on his CV as much as the club needs it on the balance sheets. So that's why this 1-0 victory here might prove to be so valuable in the wider picture. Liverpool gets medical verdict on Wataru Endo injury after latest setback. Wataru Endo looks set for a long layoff after being stretchered off against Sunderland, with one injury expert having given some insight into how long the Liverpool midfielder could be out for. Wataru Endo's season may already be over after being stretchered off in Liverpool's win over Sunderland, according to one injury expert. The Japan international's withdrawal during the second half put a dampener on what was a crucial victory for the Reds as they looked to qualify for next season's Champions League. Having landed awkwardly on his ankle, Endo attempted to play on before having to admit defeat and being carried off. Arne Slot has already admitted he's not hopeful of any positive news on the injury, which leaves him with even fewer options in defense, with Endo having been filling in at right back amid the absences of Connor Bradley, Jeremy Frimpong, and the suspended Dominic Szoboszlai. Endo is set to have his injury assessed before the weekend, with no official word yet on how long he could be out of action for, although one injury expert has given some insight. According to soccer injury analyst Physio Scout, the midfielder could be out for more than 3 months, which would almost certainly spell the end of his season. Outlining what the injury could be, it's explained. Forced diversion at the ankle after putting his body weight on it brings concern for a high ankle sprain/syndesmosis injury. Due to the high velocity, scans will also need to rule out any lower leg fracture. Fibula is usually the structure at risk here. Endo could therefore be facing a similar problem to Alexander Isak. The striker fractured his fibula against Tottenham in December, but is hoped to be able to return before the end of the season. 3 possible timeframes are given for Endo's absence, depending on the injury sustained. A fibula fracture on its own would need 6 to 10 weeks of recovery, while a high ankle sprain would require 8 to 10 weeks, although both outcomes would need surgery. The worst-case scenario, involving both a sprain and a fracture, would require more than 12 weeks of recovery. Slot has confirmed Liverpool will find out more on Thursday, although the Reds' boss is not confident. Yes, it is a serious one, but how serious we don't know yet, Slot said after the game. Because it has to be assessed tomorrow, of course, but it doesn't look good. I am not too sure if it is his ankle, it is his foot, but if it is his ankle, that is what we have to assess tomorrow. But I assume he will be out for a long time. And what is long? That is difficult to say at this moment, but yes, you can hardly believe what this right full-back position brings us this season. Virgil van Dijk speaks out on Ibrahima Konate Liverpool contract situation. Can only do so much. Virgil van Dijk says he is hopeful of centre-back partner Ibrahima Konate signing a new Liverpool contract. Virgil van Dijk says he is hopeful of world-class Ibrahima Konate staying beyond the end of his current Liverpool contract. But the Reds skipper admits the situation is in the club's hands. Konate is inside the final 4 months of the Anfield terms he struck when he signed from RB Leipzig in the summer of 2021 for £36 million. While talks have been ongoing for some time, the France international is set to leave the club as a free agent in the summer as things stand. Konate, who has been linked with Real Madrid, turned in an impressive performance on Wednesday night as Liverpool kept a clean sheet to beat Sunderland 1-0 and inflict the Black Cats' first home defeat since they returned to the Premier League at the start of the season. Van Dijk is close with his defensive partner off the pitch, admitting they have discussed the contract situation, and while the skipper, who signed a 2-year extension himself last April, is keen to see his centre-back partner remain at Anfield, he is aware of the complexities behind any new deal. He was outstanding, Van Dijk said of Konate's display at the Stadium of Light. He was incredible today. Brobby was with him 90% of the time. Brian Brobby has made a lot of defenders' lives this season pretty difficult, but Ibu did outstanding. We are friends, we speak about everything. It's a process, and let's see what comes out of it. It's never that easy. We saw with my situation last year, so it's never that easy that we can just say, let's get it done. It's a process, and let's see what comes out of it. Obviously, I want him to stay. He's an important figure on the pitch. That's what everyone sees, but off the pitch as well, he's one of the leaders. He's outstanding and, in my eyes, a world-class centre-back. I can do only so much, but it's in the club's hands, together with his agents and himself. So let's see what comes out of it, but I have no influence otherwise on that. It was not my decision to leave my contract that late, but it is what it is. There is always hope for Konate staying. The win over Regis Lebris's side saw the Reds close the gap on 4th place Manchester United to 3 points after they drew with West Ham United. Liverpool are also 2 points behind Chelsea in 5th, after they were held at home to Leeds United. Van Dijk added, "Absolutely, we need perfection to qualify. If you look at the teams around, some of them dropped points. I think we're going to play most of them, so definitely we need some perfection. Today was pretty close to perfection, how we defended, the intensity, but also the chances we generated, and maybe should have scored, but it's still game by game. Unfortunately, we've got Wataru Endo, out now. Hopefully not too long, but it could be. We're very thin at the moment. We need everyone available, but it's a combination of being ready, physically and mentally. For example, last game losing to Manchester City, in that manner at home, and you have to be strong to come back from that. That's why I'm proud of the guys today and the shift they put in. It's an important 3 points. I'm confident in my team, and it's down to us to show that each and every 3-4 days. Now our focus turns to the FA Cup, then we have a long week to prepare for, Nottingham Forest. It's a good win. Now we recover and go back home. What gives confidence is the performance. Not that we won here or broke their record. It's the performance. Defensively, we were very good. Offensively, we should have scored more, but we take the 3 points. There's plenty of improvement if you compare our games to that period in November, but I feel like we're still not where we want to be. That's down to us, but games like tonight show we're in a good way, but we have to keep going.